object-oriented high-level language with dynamic semantics. Okay, but anyhow, all these are words, so we need to explain them. So I have given the relevant explanation here. And for example, interpreted. So whatever the bytecode given by the bytecode compiler, it is interpreted by the PVM. So you heard these terms, right, when we were discussing the Python interpreter part.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So might be then let us do like this. So since you already heard, let me ask you some questions also,
Sure.
so that I'll understand your understanding.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay, is bytecode same as machine code?
No, it's intermittent between high level and the machine
Yeah.
code. Correct.
Correct. Intermediate between our source program and the machine code. So that bytecode will be interpreted line by line, and till the point where it is successful, it will be giving the successful output, and rest of the things will actually fail. I mean, from that point. Okay.
Yeah.
This behavior can be more visible when you work with a Python interpreter. Okay, so if we are saying it is getting interpreted, so that kind of behavior you can practically see when you work with an Python interpreter, which gives a line of output once we type a line of code and press the enter key. Okay, so that will come in some time. So in the interpreter, we can see this behavior. I mean, that Python is interpreting and also giving the output at the same time immediately. Okay, next is object-oriented. Why we call it as object-oriented programming. So generally, object-oriented programming means it is just a programming model. It is a style of programming, okay, which mainly revolves around classes and objects. So it will be useful like a code structuring, like how to structure your code. If there are 1,000 lines of code, might be you can structure them into different classes, 10 classes like this. And it will also work as a reusable tool. So, but main thing here we have to follow is we should write code in such a way that we will change the data more and the code less. Okay, means that is called, you might have heard this term, right? Hard coding.
Yes.
Okay, people ask you not to do
the redundancy in the code. Same code doesn't get repeated again and again.
Yes.
Right.
So, I mean, redundancy is something like you're writing the same code again and again.
Correct. That's where the classes is helpful, and basically the way that you are saying hard coding, that's where the variables comes into the picture, making it more dynamic. Correct.
Sorry?
Making it more dynamic.
More dynamic. Correct. So if you use variables, it can take in any data. Okay. Correct. And those variables can be structured with the help of classes, because what classes will do is they will associate your variables with the class, and the values which you get that can be associated with the objects. So for a simple example can be if I make some employee class, okay. So and every employee needs to get the hike, right? So you might write a function for calculating the hike. Okay. So function, I mean, since we did not discuss function, just think that we have a task to do. Correct. So that task is to apply hike for an employee. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here what we will do is we will assume while writing the class, okay, we will assume that this hike task will take some inputs and it should give some output, like a formula, mathematical formula. It will take some input and give the output. Right. So if one time I write that kind of task, programming thing for achieving the task, that I can use it for any number of objects. I mean, the real-time employee, the persons who will enter, so they will have some data. So that data we are categorizing as object, which will be relevant to a particular person. Object means it will be unique. I mean, every object will be unique, but all the objects share the same kind of data. So here we are taking those objects as the employees. So what these employees can do is they can take the same apply hike and they can apply with their own data. Okay, they need not write the apply hike programming again for achieving this task. So they can use it for free from the class. So objects get everything, I can say, for free from the classes to directly use with their own data and get different results. So that is possible with the object-oriented programming. In this case, we are writing one time, using it n number of times or 1 lakh times, whatever it is, depending on the number of employees. We'll be executing the same 10 lines of code those many number of times based on the number of employees. So that is a like advantage. One example we can say.
So
Next is high level. So
just
yeah,
one thing. So
yeah.
if we basically pointing out to the object, right? So basically we are saying it's a category we are taking. Like let's say if we talk about employees, certain folks which come under that. So we are saying employee is a object, right? So suppose if we have to take in the case of different cars, okay, it can be a sedan, SUV. So
Correct.
right. So basically that becomes the object, is it? This category or
Okay, so those again based on what you are taking. For example, if you are taking the car class,
yeah,
okay. So car class means you'll take all the generic things related to a car. It will have wheels, or it will have some what I can say, doors, or whatever it is, steering. These
yeah,
are
yeah.
generic things.
These are
Okay,
basically the properties of the class, right?
properties or whatever.
Yeah.
So for a car, you can say that this all will be there. So from this you can derive the objects like based on the model, sedan, and those things.
Yeah. So
Okay, so
basically
every
those
car
category
type.
will be model. Like
Yeah.
the model is the object, is it? Like the different
No,
types.
no. Model is the okay. So if you take this factory kind of thing, right? So model is something. It is like a blueprint, or generally they say blueprint like this. It is something based on which you can create an object. Okay, so it will have the same characteristics like the model. Okay, so if I say it should have some specific shape or something, so that object created using that model will have that exact shape. Okay, so in a factory, when we have some machine which will say, let us think that there is one machine which will actually give all the phones. Okay, it will just think that it is giving the phones one by one. Okay, so it will have some model. Okay, so what should be the dimensions?
So my was not exactly model. I was just saying basically the category of the car is the object, right? A sedan is an object, or SUV is an object, is it?
Yes. In one sense we can take like that. But again, if we talk about like sedan itself as a class, we can take sedan itself as a class also. So in that case, what will happen? Whatever specific properties it has, we can add that. For example, instead of making sedan an object, we can make as a class, and from that sedan as another class. Okay, and sedan you can make one object. What is the object?
So basically, how we say what is an object? Yeah. Like my question is how we differentiate between this object and class like that. So class, I understand, right? Sedan is one of the class. It's because it has its unique properties, right? What do we call an object? How do we identify the object?
Okay. Anyhow, classes and objects will cover later also, but simply saying class will mention that what are all the characteristics. Like if you take employee also, first name, last name, it will mention the characteristics, but it will not define the values. Okay. Object means it will have the concrete values. Means first name means Ram, last name means Kumar. Okay. But for the object, what is the advantage if it is since it is coming from the class? Okay. The association of first name variable to Ram, last name variable to Kumar will happen. Will happen automatically when you create the object. Why it will happen automatically when you create the object? Because inside the class we will write such code so that these values get associated with these variables. Okay. And also we will keep the separation in such a way that E1 is one object and his first name is Ram and his last name is Kumar. E2 is another object. His first name is Ram, his last name is Kumar. Okay. See, same variable name. Okay, same variable name you are using for 100 objects or 1000 objects, it doesn't matter. It will associate that variable with the object. Okay. But how every object will they get that variable? They will get it from the class. Okay, that common variable name, you will keep it in the class, and the same common variable name, it will be used by all the objects based on how many objects we create. Okay. Yeah. So all the characteristics, you know that, okay, in your organization, you know that for an employee, you will have only some set of fields. Let us say first name, last name, salary and tenure. You decided the number of fields. Then you will keep all those number of fields with the names in class. Okay. And when you create the objects, it will get all these fields from that class. Okay. You need not write 4 fields again for the object. It will get all these field names from the class. Okay, but how it will actually happen, that we will discuss in the classes and objects. You can see the practical working of these things. Okay. Class is simply saying class is a binding. It will create a binding between your code that will work, between the code and the data. Okay, generally function means it will not have such binding. So function is only a code. It will take the data at runtime and give the result. But class is something which will create a binding between the code and the data on which the code will work. Okay, so we will actually bind the data and code together. Okay, that link will be created in class. Okay, anyhow, we will see that in more detail in the classes and objects also. Okay. And this high level thing, as I said, it will be more understandable by the user rather than a machine if you write Python program. And that is why we call it high level. Low level is something which is more nearer to the machine. And dynamic semantics generally means the meaning of a programming statement. Means if you write one statement, how Python will understand it. So Python programming statements actually have dynamic meanings. Means it can be based on the type of the data it will understand the statement, or based on the mainly based on the type of the data, it will understand the statement and execute the statement. So it is very dynamic depending on the data inputs. So that is why we say it has dynamic semantics means dynamic meanings for the programming statement. Okay. And next, why Python? Okay. So here we will have some simple example. If you're, did you come anytime across Java or something? So this is I just gave both in future also you should be able to refer to this. So if I take simple Python program to print something, so it is a one-liner, and I will run it and I'll get the output. Okay. But if I take same thing on a Java compiler, okay, so it is definitely not a one-liner. Same output, single line of output, but it is around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Okay. So that is the clear difference in case of speed of coding. Okay, I'm not saying the speed of output, but only the speed of coding. Because speed of coding in the sense, like you and your fellow programmer is there, and he is using Java, so and you are using Python. So if I give you a task, you will write quickly and show me the output, and can show the output compared to your Java programmer. Why? Because the number of lines are less mainly. So same task you will achieve in lesser number of lines. That's why we can say that Python is quick for coding. We can quickly code the things.
If you see the Java, it's more object oriented, right? While the Python code is more, you can say it's
in Python everything is an object.
Yeah, right.
Everything. In fact, the string is there, right? This is also an object.
Okay.
But the thing is, Python will not expose that complexities to you, and it will make the interface simple.
Okay.
So that as a programmer, you need not worry about whether hello world is an object or something. You will just think that, okay, it is a text. I can print it onto the screen. Your task is done.
Okay.
But Java is like, it is expecting you to understand directly this class concept, even if to write a simple program. Okay, in Python, it is not required. Even without object-oriented programming, we can achieve a lot of tasks in Python. Okay. And it is simple on syntax. Okay, why we can say it's simple on syntax? I have took some points. So one is no preconditions. Okay. In Python, in Java, for example, you are writing like this, and in case even if you came across C language, there also we will generally include some header files at the top. Okay, without those header files, you will not get the proper output. But in Python, don't import anything, don't write any specific style of code like classes or something. So even though your program will still work, because built-ins are readily available in the Python interpreter, they can, that will be taken care of by the Python to find the right word, whatever you have written, it will find within by itself and give the output. So there are no preconditions for writing a simple Python program. And it is easy to structure. Why? Because in Python, there is nothing like curly braces to indicate some start or end points. Simple indentation thing can do the job. And easy data handling, like there are no hints needed from user to indicate a type of data. So assignment of data to names looks like a simple mathematics assignment. So how you do the mathematics assignment, same way you can do the data assignment, the value assignment to a variable.
Right.
Okay. Next is history of Python. In case if you don't know, then you can know this. But the main thing is it was created in 1990s by, the author, right? Guido van Rossum. So it's like after the language ABC. And 1991, the first one came 0.9.0. Even in fact, at this stage itself, it had all the core data types like list, dictionary, and all these things even in 1991 itself. Okay, and later it became as 1.0 in 1994. And okay, one more thing I did. Okay, it's how the Python name came, right?
Python.
Yeah. Why it is named Python?
Not exactly.
Okay, so the thing is, it was named after the famous circus show. Okay, its name is Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Okay.
Actually, that point I missed to add here. Yeah. So this author, he was actually watching that circus, and he wanted to keep some different name, unique name. So what he has done is he took the name from that circus and that circus show name, and from that he took the Python and put it for the language. That's it. Okay. There is no good logic for this. And Python versions were released in like 1.0 in 1994 and 2.0 in 2000 and 3.0 in 2008. And the latest stable version is 3.12, which was released in October 2nd, 2023. So like this is the order of the thing. So main changes, if at all in future, if you come across something, so the challenges you might come across is between Python 2.x and 3.x. In case if some projects are still using Python 3.2.x, then there might be differences in the working of both of them. So apart from that, if they are using Python 3.x, then there should not be any problem.
I think Python 2.x is end of life now, yeah? And 3 is the standard now, is it?
Yeah, 3 is the standard one.
Yeah.
But you don't know, right? So some very old projects are there, and they might be using, because what people will do is, if once the thing is successful with a specific version, the environment will be stick to that one, and they don't want to change it, because if they change something, it might break.
Correct. That's fine.
So at that time you might see challenges, but apart from that, you can comfortably work with Python 3.x. And features of Python, it is free and portable. So as you know, it is an open source. Why companies insist on using it? Because it is an open source, and we can, if you know the programming, we can do it without any cost for them. And it is also portable, means same program should give the same output irrespective of the platform, whether it is Unix, Windows, something else, the output should be the same. So that is possible. And these are all features of Python. Mainly only when compared to other languages, because many people keep on saying that Python is easy to learn. Okay. But only in the one sense, like if we compare to other languages, yes, it is easy to learn. But by itself, it has also many things which we need to like understand and learn on a daily basis. Okay. So why it is easy? Because it takes care of the complexities which we know for the data, and no prerequisites and simple words to code. So that is why it is easier to learn. And it is powerful. Okay. Why we can call it as powerful is there are many built-in object types. Okay. So if we consider language like C, might be if you came across any time, like, do you remember like data structures, right?
Yes.
So there, I only remember very long time back where we used to write, where we need to write some bigger code for linked lists and those things, queues but these kind of features are already available like built-in types in Python. So where you need not worry about writing the bigger code. Directly the types are available, and this will grow or shrink. Means okay, let us take this. There are some list of values 1, 2, 3, and so on. If you want, you can add 4 to the list of values. If you want, you can remove. So it can grow or it can shrink. So that is possible in Python. Okay, and there are a lot of built-in tools, like we can do adding of numbers, joining the names, extracting some text, sorting the numbers or alphabetical data, anything. These are all we can do with the help of built-ins. We don't need to again write the code for that. So we have the operators, we have the functions, everything we can directly use.
Pradeep, these are built-in functions you are talking about, right? For
built-in functions, and also something like operators. We can also take them as built-ins.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything which comes already in part, anything which Python interpreter can understand by itself. So these are all will be built-ins. We don't
operator,
define them.
What you actually mean, like greater than, less than, those are called operators or what?
Yeah, those are the operators. These are all operators. Okay, even plus, these are all operators.
Yeah, correct.
Those and we are saying this as built-ins because Python can understand the meaning of this.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Yeah. So these and functions, there are a number of functions which we can actually use. And these are built-in tools like functions and operators. And next is standard library. Okay, standard library I'm saying because when we install Python, along with Python itself, we will have some like OS as part of the Python. We don't need to install it as a third-party package or module. So it is already available with the Python itself. So we can directly use them.
But we have to import this, right, for using?
Yeah, we have to import. Yeah, but that doesn't mean like we will install. It is just the import, which will not directly come in the built-in itself. Okay, so we have to just import them when required. But the advantage is, as why we call it as powerful is it is already available in the standard library, and we need not install any other software and directly use them by just importing.
So that means when we install Python, automatically these
are available. Yeah, some things like these things, OS, RE, date, these are already available. Okay. And third-party libraries, so frameworks like Django, these need to be these can also be installed on top of Python. And many data analysis packages like pandas and all these things, they are available as third-party. If you want the full list of things, you can go to the PyPy. So where you can find all the, there are this many releases, projects. So you can search if you want any specific things in this and get the right package. Okay. So there are some lakhs of things. So in that we will be using only very minimal set of things which we require. Okay. Yeah. So anything which these packages can be installed using the pip, which is the package manager. Okay. Yeah, we were discussing these things. This is done.
I think we already completed this.
Yeah. So now working with the database. So when we say, as yesterday we were saying this API thing, right? So there is something called Python database API. Okay, this will define the standard interface with which all Python database drivers must comply. Okay, so these details are provided in 249. But what we will do is keeping it simple. All Python database drivers such as SQLite 3 for SQLite, psycop-g for PostgreSQL, and MySQL connector for MySQL. So these all
Hello.
In my work experience, actually, I have used psycop-g too. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, your voice actually went out. Hello.
Okay. Yeah. So I was just saying that we have different drivers for different databases.
Okay.
Whenever you decide to work with a database, you need to find the right kind of database driver. Database driver means it is not just any special thing, just the module which we need to download again, like this Django. Okay, install like a Django only. So you'll just install that module and start writing the code as the module specifies. As the module documentation specifies. Okay.
And basically,
So
this module will be responsible for establishing the connection
connection,
with the
yes.
database. Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah, relevant, I mean, corresponding database. So you have to find the
Correct.
download that
Yeah.
specific module only,
Okay.
then it will work.
Okay.
So, and what are the other applications like the data analysis, NumPy, Pandas, SciPy, Matplotlib for data visualization? So either numeric computing tasks or scientific tasks, and data visualizations or data summary. So all these things are possible with the help of Python. Okay, I mean, this third-party modules again, to say clearly.
Okay.
And
Pradeep,
web
one
app
question.
development. So
One
this will be
question.
the structure.
Okay. Sorry. One question I wanted to ask. You said about the database. What about suppose if we want to connect something like Redis or Elasticsearch or things like that? For those also the modules are already available, is it?
Yes, they should be, but if you ask me, I did not work with that, so I'm not aware of that. Yeah, but there should be possibility. Yes.
Yeah. Basically, Redis is
Definitely.
nothing, just the in-memory database, right? So, okay, yeah, might be there would be. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you for example, if you want to see those things, I mean, if you have any specific database or something, a system or something, you can let me know. I'll check and get back to you. Yeah,
Sure,
but
sure.
that should be possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And web application development. So in case once we complete the entire Python, okay. So and you make a setup, the simple setup will look like this. Okay. So once you make the application ready, and you will share the URL to the person who wants to access your application. For example, the Python link which I have given to you. So that person will be entering in his PC, in his browser, the link, and that will communicate. I mean, that particular URL, the routing, and that URL will hit the server. That server is running with the help of Django. I mean, Django will be the server where it will respond back. Okay, respond back based on the URL, the relevant HTML file. I mean, it will give the HTML file back to the client. So that HTML will again be displayed in the browser. So browser knows what to do with the HTML. So that's why it will be successfully displaying it as an output on the screen. Okay. And in the backend, our Django will actually communicate with the database. It can be SQLite, MySQL, or any PostgreSQL, everything. So it will fetch the data. Django will fetch the data and sends it in the HTML to the user. So the advantage with Django is you can directly make that communication to the database and also put the data in the HTML file. So it is a very good combination because you need not worry much about the making the server setup. Okay, so it is directly it is very much easier to just create the project and write the relevant code, whatever way Django specifies, in the HTML file. And in fact, we can see the combination of both HTML and the Python code at one place in Django. I mean, it's in HTML file itself, you will write the Python code. So that is the advantage in Django. So it will take care of all the communications and giving back the response. Even the routing part, everything will be handled by Django itself. Okay. And there are also many others tasks. Okay, so if you consider like daily tasks for automation or something, we can add some screenshots, logs to Word documents. We can split a PDF. I mean, these things I have actually done in my work also. So where I was adding these kind of things to the Word documents. I mean, I was generating a test report kind of thing automatically for the automation part. And I used splitting a PDF I have done just some generic task. And we can generate consolidated reports from different files. Like let us say you are getting some, we'll have some, in our case, we'll have generally the network element statistics. So where we have to take all the reports and club them and give the final report. So that is also possible. And we can even modify the XML files. So XMLs are generally used in our case for configurations. So any system, for example, in any system, there is some pre-configuration required to be done. And if you want to make slight changes to that and start your test or anything, so application or anything. So that is also possible to, I mean, we can do some modifications of the XML files directly with the help of Python. Okay. So like this, there are n number of things which we can do with the Python.
Okay.
Next, Python installation. So you're ready? You're having Python already in your PC or not?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so in case if you don't have, then for Windows, you have to go to the site and download the required exe and install it.
Yeah.
And for Ubuntu, I just kept the commands. But which operating system are you using?
I'm using Mac.
Mac? Good.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have Mac. I have Windows. I have Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Both I have. Okay,
I think
so
we can stick to the Visual Studio Code. It will be same, right? Doesn't really matter whether it's Ubuntu, Windows, or Mac, right? So
yes, I have Visual Studio also. And but anyhow, in the first place, what we will do is we will do it with the just simple Python interpreter and ideally
okay,
in the
okay.
Starting days.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, and if you use this already available IDEs, then we will not get to know the mistakes. So for that reason, for some days we will use this.
Okay.
And if at all, okay, so approach will be like we have to mainly do it with the command prompt, and then slowly we will move to ideally. Then we will move to the IDE, the environments, development environments.
Okay.
So if you ideally is it will come as part of the Python installation. I mean, at least in Windows, it will be directly coming. So I'll just show you ideally.
Okay.
How it looks like, I'll just show you one.
I once saw something like IPython.
No, IPython is totally. Ideally, is just a, what I can say, it is a simple
it's the same
development
prompt.
environment, I can say, not the sophisticated like these Visual Studio or something.
Okay.
But it will be very simple one like this text editor.
Okay.
Simple text editor, but with Python features. So those will be available in this.
So you can directly run from it. Okay, got it.
Yes, we can directly run from it.
Okay.
So if at all Python is successfully installed, you can check the version, and we can, for starting Python interpreter, we will just type Python and enter. So that is on command prompt or Unix shell.
Yes.
Just type Python and enter.
Okay.
And what is Python interpreter? This we discussed yesterday. So I'm thinking you are good. You are understanding already this one. So we'll not discuss much on this. And now we will see the working with Python interpreter. Okay. So there are some important note points when you start working or start writing code in the interpreter. I'm saying interpreter. Interpreter is the simplest interface for Python. So you go to your command prompt or shell in case of Mac. Mac is also having shell-like environment, right?
Correct. Just like Ubuntu, we have
shell. So just type Python or Python 3 and enter. Okay, so then you will enter the interactive prompt, or I can say this is the interpreter, okay, which will immediately interpret your code and give the output. Okay. So here, first thing is the interactive prompt. You can see immediately the 3 greater than symbols, which indicates that it is an interactive prompt, which comes after we type in Python and press enter. At this prompt, only Python code can be run. Nothing, no operating system commands, nothing. Only pure Python code will run in this case. Okay, something like this. So this is also, it is a Python code. If you just type in some number, that is also a Python code, because it will understand that it is a number and it will just reflect it back. Okay. And there is no need of any print statements when you're working in interpreter, this interactive mode. So there is no need of any print statements. It is interactive in the sense like if you ask some value of some variable name or identifier, it will output the value on the screen without the need for a print statement. If you see here, when I type 3 and enter, it is echoing that value to the screen. I mean, there is no need of print. I don't need to mention print of 3. I mean, this is I can say unnecessary code in case of when we are inside the interpreter. Okay. So, and and in case if I just give some value there also, I'm associating value with a name is A. So I'm giving A, then it will give the value. So if it understands that name or if it understands that word, it will give the output. If it doesn't understand, it will throw the error. That's it. And in the interactive mode, we will run one statement at a time. Okay. If you see here, I cannot write 2 lines. Okay. For example, I cannot write print of 3 and print of 4. See, the moment I write print of 3 and enter, already the output is coming.
Yeah.
Okay, I cannot write a next consecutive line. That is not possible because this is a simple statement. Okay, only one simple statement. Or I can write a compound statement. Compound statement means anyhow we will discuss further also, but just for example, I'm showing. If 1 equal to 1, this is a compound statement because
Okay.
if will have its own set of lines below it,
Yeah.
and here whenever it is a compound statement means it will have more than one statement inside it. Okay,
Yeah.
so here the prompt will change. If you see here, there are 3 dots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it indicates that you need to add some tab spacing and write your other code, whatever you want. So you'll write the code. And if you press enter, still it is asking again, giving the 3 dots and asking for the next line. Means it enters, it makes an entry point into the statement. It will take all the lines, whether you write 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines, so many. So if you are finished writing all the multiple lines, then you just press enter again. Again, you have to press enter without writing any line. Then you will see the output.
Okay.
So this is like compound statement. So it will have multiple lines, and for multiple lines, the prompt will change.
Just one question. It doesn't
Yeah.
support the tab, right? You have to give the spaces only. Python doesn't support tab, right?
No, it will support tab also. Not
This
a problem.
interpreter will support, right? But not the.
Yeah, interpreter, and ideally that will also support tab, not a problem.
So when we write the general Python program, it says about indentation, right? So properly
Correct.
indent 2 spaces, 4 spaces.
Yeah, that also we will discuss. Actually, the thing is either you use tab or you use spaces. Don't use both.
Okay, got it.
That there comes the problem in real time. I mean, even in fact, I also experienced those things where I was like taking some existing code and I was adding some lines, but existing code might be having spaces, and then in the new lines I'm adding tab. Then it will give the error.
Okay.
So that is not possible.
Okay, got it.
And yeah, this is about the statements. And any terminating the statements means always when we want to say terminate means complete the statement. So I have to press enter. Without that, no output will come. So the moment I press enter means that line is interpreted and the output will be given. Same will happen for compound statements, but we have to press enter twice. Why? Because at the last line, we are telling that there are no more lines to type in. So at that time, it will
Basically
consider that we are at the end of the thing and it will stop that. And indenting the statements. So simple statements should not be indented. For example, simple statement means one-liners. So I'll give some spaces and I'll write print of 3. Okay. So you can see there is an indentation error. So for simple statements, there is no need to give any unnecessary spaces. Okay. And compound statements need to be indented. For example, same if 1 equal to 1, I'm typing here. Okay. So here I don't give any indentation. I'll type print of 1. So there also I'll get an error. So based on what kind of statement we are typing, based on that requirement, we will give either the indentation or we will not give the indentation.
Okay.
So let me make a copy of this. Okay. So I'll keep it here. Okay. So this one later I'll share this one also. Okay. So this is about some important points when you are working directly with the interpreter. Okay. Yeah. And next thing, now we will go to the next one. So how we will write and execute the Python programs. So anyhow, there also we will first start with interpreter and then ideally. Okay. So on interpreter, there are some more things which I also found very recently. So if you want some help, okay. So help. Okay. So let us say when you install Python for the first time, okay, and you don't have any sources, okay, internet is not there, or you want to still learn.
Does it support clear? If I type clear, will it clear it? No.
Yes, I think it will. It should not clear. CL, I don't remember. No, clear and all these things will come in the operating system prompt.
Yeah.
Okay. And for this also, I have done something. I am not remembering that. Yeah, there is a way to actually clear these statements. Anyhow, I'll check and get back. Okay. Let me make a note. Okay. Next, yeah.
Okay.
And also, okay, there are two additional things which we can learn about interpreter is, one is, let us say we don't have any online sources and you have the Python installed in your PC. At that time, how we will start to read some documentation and understand by yourself. So anytime, whenever you don't know anything, you install any new tool, what will be your approach? So what you will do?
Help.
Any new tool if you have installed? Help. Yeah. So the same thing here. I'll just type help and enter. So then it will tell me what I should do further. So it is saying type help, open and close parenthesis. We call these brackets as parenthesis. Okay. So I have to type help. Whatever it says, I should do it. So then it will be more helpful. Okay. So I typed that and immediately the prompt is changing. Yeah. You can see this prompt, right? Yeah. Help and single greater than sign. It is different from this prompt. Okay. Yeah. So it is now only in the interactive mode of help. Okay. It will only help you with the details. So at that time, if you don't know what is a print, okay, so you just used it. But if you want to know, just type the word and enter. Nothing required, just type word and enter. So then it will immediately give you the details of the function. In fact, it will mention that it is a function. If you can see here, it is mentioning help on built-in, means it is built-in, means already available inside Python, and it is a function. Okay. And what are all arguments it takes, and every detail it will give in the help mode. Okay, so that is useful whenever you want to immediately see the description and start using it. So at that time you can use this one. And if you want to quit, you just quit and you will come back to the original prompt. And other thing is auto completion with the tab. Okay, so this is not directly available on Windows. Okay. So in Mac, I'm suspecting it might already be available. So if your auto completion with tab is already available, then you should see something like this, TR and tab. Then you should see the available built-ins in Python. Yeah, okay. So, or if you give some variable name, ABC is equal to 3 and AB and tab. So it will show that variable name as well along with the built-in. Okay. So this auto completion feature, if you want on Windows, for me, there is something called PyReadline 3 that I have to install, then only it is going to work. But I'm suspecting in Mac, since it is similar to Unix kind of environment, so you might already be having it. So can you check?
It's there.
You're having it?
It's
there, right?
There. I just checked. Yeah.
Yeah, because it is actually having the readline module by default, so that is the reason it works. Okay. Next is ideally. So initially we will be using ideally for the programming. Okay, so ideally comes maybe before that. Let us try to enter some data here. Let me copy this. Actually, I could have taken a log for this one. I'll see it later. Yeah. Okay, so first we'll see some more lines in interpreter, then we will see. So interpreter will understand any line of code you are typing in 3 plus 4, just mathematical addition. So it will give the output. It will evaluate the line which you have written, whether it can be simple or whether it can be complex. It will evaluate the line and it will give the output. And when you are giving some text data means, so let us say you want to type hello. This is the text data I want to give. Yeah. So the moment you type in, it is saying it is not defined. Yeah. So this point you're getting, right? Or
this is basically a string, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a string which I have given without following the rules. Yeah. So it will try to find what it is. So it is thinking that it is something already existing, and it's not considering it as a data. It is considering it as a code. Yeah. If it is considering as a data, then not a problem. But if it is considering as a code, then it will try to find it where it is. So to make it a data means I don't want Python to interpret that text. So then I have to keep it in quotes. Then it will not interpret. It will give it as it is, like a pure data.
Question. Yeah. It supports both, right? Single quotes and double quotes, is it?
Yes, both are possible.
Okay.
And actually, we are. I know. I see that the word string also came, like, because they are joined together.
Correct.
Okay, so we cannot see them as separate things. So it's a unit together. So for that unit together, there should be a starting point and ending point. So for that reason, if you type like this, so we will get the error immediately.
Correct.
Because there is no ending point for this. So it doesn't know where to end this string. So that is why it is saying unterminated string.
Correct.
Okay, unterminated string. And
so what is the general practice? Do we follow like single quote or a double quotes?
It really doesn't matter. Okay, so if your code is already existing in, say, single quote style, you can do that. Okay. Or it depends on the type of the data also. Like what happens is, sometimes your data might be having, like, see, for example, that like this kind of text you want to write, right? So at that time, so you can prefer using double quotes, right? So because the data inside it needs that single quote. Correct. So at that time you can use the double quotes. So it will be purely depending on the data and the requirement. And there is actually in the latest, there another ways, if you want to escape, you can also use backslash to escape this single and double quotes. That is also possible. So
it's something similar.
So
in the
any kind of so any kind of data, give it, get it back. So it will reflect the data. So whether it is text or whether it is number. So have you tried any time like this? So do you think I'll write something? If you think it is valid, you can say your native language is, mother tongue is which one?
Hindi.
Hindi, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Not too good. Okay, do you think this is valid?
If it supports, there's a 256-bit Unicode or something like that, right? There's a character set. If it supports, I think this is valid. It will take it.
Valid?
Yeah.
But I'm using it for the variable name, right?
Okay. No. I'm not sure. I haven't tried that.
But I know. I just wanted to confuse. See, there are two different aspects. Actually, if I'm giving it like this. Okay.
Yeah.
So one side it is a data, other side it is I can say it is a code or a variable name. Okay.
Yeah. But obviously variable. Yeah. But we can usually assign the variable the value, but it should not start with a number. It should start with a character, something like this. If I remember properly.
But if you see, it is valid.
Yeah.
Okay. So in fact, this is mentioned in the Python documentation also.
Okay.
Variable names, should not start with numbers. Okay.
Yeah.
But they can start with some set of characters like this from this Unicode character set. Whichever are allowed. So from those we can pick and do it. I mean this kind of flexibility is given like because see, people from other languages, if they at least want to keep their variable names as per their language, they can do it.
Okay.
Definitely possible. But any built-ins or anything, so that is anyhow in English. There is no bypass for that.
Okay. Can we use any special character for starting? At the rate,
special characters
like at the rate or some hash or something like that.
I think it is definitely not be allowed because those might not fall into the okay, you want to do like this, right?
At the rate a equal to 1.
A is equal to 1. Okay. Yeah. Still it's not because okay, I'll tell you why. Okay. Because see, all these special characters are already in use.
Okay.
At least at the rate is in use by Python. Okay, it has some different meaning. I mean, when it comes to the context, we can explain it.
Okay.
So these characters are already in use, and anyhow, we will see the.
So basically, these are the reserved characters.
Reserved characters. So we cannot straight away keep them in the variable names. Okay.
Okay. Got it.
So this is one thing. Okay. So this is about typing something in the interpreter, and you can see any data, give it will reflect it back if it can understand the data. Same thing in ideally. Ideally also we'll have the shell. I mean, there is a shell in ideally also. It is similar to the interpreters. It is the same interpreter only. Same. So no need to only the thing is the way it looks is different, but apart from that, it is the same. And for us, we will mainly be using the file, the text editor where we want to write the code. Okay. So the very first moment we can save it. It will come with the extension. Already the type will be automatically there. So you just save it on at the relevant place that's it. So just give the name. No need to give the extension. Okay. When you're using the ideally, no need to give any extension. Just give the name.
Okay.
So if I just type something, even though it is a valid code, okay, I'm just typing 1. This is also for me a valid code. And if you run, there will be no output. There is no error. There is no output. Okay. So here, once we enter the editors, so print is required. Okay. So that is the difference between the interpreter and the what is this editors. So where we will write the code. Okay. Because interpreter will immediately try to understand what you have written and it will echo back the output. But this is a static file, okay, which needs to be first compiled and then interpreted by the Python at a later point of time. So in this, we have to use the print statements mandatorily. And we need to add, unlike interpreter, which automatically echoes the results on the screen without any statements, here we need to add the print statements to see the results or values.
Okay.
And this one also has a automatic indentation. Okay. Means this ideally will support the automatic indentation. For example, same if I am taking 1 equal to 1, colon, these all things we'll see in the syntax also. Yes. So here, if I type that colon and enter, you can see it is going to it is taking the indent by itself. I did not give any spaces. I did not give any tabs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It will do the automatic indentation for any number of lines of code. So here, again, it is the same. So if you come out, give the backspace. That is only option. Yeah. And there are also some special words which will tell this ideally to make a indent and dident. The line is dedented. So dedented in the sense, for example, later we'll come across this also function F1. So here, if I want to just write something and then later come out of, so it will detect that this word is the end of the function. Okay, it will detect that return word is the end of the function. So it will automatically come back. So it will dident, it will come out of the function block by itself. Okay. So that kind of features are available in the ideally. Okay. So after certain kind of words, it will recognize those words because it is, as I said, it's specific to this Python thing. So it will come as part of Python, so it can understand. Okay. In leading indentation, backspace, backspace means leading indentation means here at this point. This is the leading indentation at the start. Yeah. So backspace will actually delete 4 spaces. Okay. I'm giving only 1 backspace, but it will delete 4 spaces. Okay. Whenever you are at the start of the line. Okay. And tab will insert the spaces, and number depends on the indent width. Okay. So there are some configurations already there. Indent spaces. Can you see?
Yes.
4 is the standard. So if you want to control it, it is up to you. You can change it and control the indentation by the default indentation of
Just 4.
4 spaces.
So normally we use 4 while coding, is it? Or 2?
Yes, that is the best practice I can say.
Okay.
So 4 spaces is good enough to continue. Okay. And so these currently tabs are restricted to 4 spaces due to some limitations it's saying. Okay, but ideally it is configurable. We can change the value. And ideally we can also do something like multiple lines updating at once. For example, format, indent a region, didn't a region, all these things. So if I want to say do more than one line, okay, to bring it to the back, so that is possible, and also I can indent. So these are like the simplest features at a high level. I mean, compared to Visual Studio kind of editor, so this will be very simple feature.
Yeah.
But these are also available in the ideally, so which we can use whenever we require. Okay. So yeah, we have completed till this point. Okay, just we will, as I said, we can spend 10 more minutes. So now a little bit a base for tomorrow's thing. I'll just try to establish. So here, you know what is a function, right?
Correct.
Do you know what is a function? Or
so yeah, basically you can say, suppose you want to perform some analysis, or you want to implement some formula on a particular, and then you can write a function for that. It can be anything, let's suppose, right? Yes. And later you can call that function and pass the arguments, data into it, and it will perform those, the formula that you have written. It will automatically do.
Correct.
So this reduces the code requirement, like to do it again and again.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So basically we are putting some 10 lines of code at one place and giving it a proper name. Maybe we can call it F1 or something.
Yeah.
And this one will have some inputs, give some output. That is the main task it will achieve. But this input will get processed or changed or maybe same based on the lines of code which is inside the F1.
Correct.
Okay. So here, whenever it comes to this aspect, so the thing is we have to call. One is defining and other one is calling. But anyhow, defining functions will come when we are discussing the user-defined functions. But mainly what we will be doing is calling the function. Okay. So this is a thing which we'll be using on a regular basis. Okay. So for example, I know, let us think that we know that print is a built-in function which is already in Python.
Right.
And I want to use it. So the simple rule to use it is add the parenthesis after it. Okay. This means that I am telling it to call this function through this parenthesis only. If I don't give the parenthesis, it is just a name.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is just a name. For example, so here, let us give this. Let us save it. I think in this case it will throw error, but I can. Okay, nothing is coming. So let me give it like this: print of print.
I think you need to put inverted.
Okay, so what it is saying, built-in function print. So it will understand this as only a function name.
Okay.
It will tell that it is just a function. It will give the information about that, nothing else. It is not calling the function. Okay, it is telling that it is a function, but it will not call the function.
Okay.
When I am giving the parenthesis here, this is calling the function.
Okay.
But inside that, when I am giving just the name, we are not calling the function. We are just giving the name of the function to it, and it is providing us a description because I have called it with this parenthesis. Okay, this print is actually printing the information about itself. That's it. Okay. Yeah. So always this parenthesis is a mandatory thing. If you are saying that you are calling the function, if you are not adding the parenthesis, then it's definitely you are not calling the function.
Okay.
And in this one, you can think that these parentheses are the entry points for your parameters. Okay. So
Entry
all the
point.
parameters will go inside this parenthesis only. Okay. So you'll write any parenthesis, any values for your arguments or parameters, whatever it is. So those will be entering only through with this parenthesis. So this is the entry point for your inputs. Okay. And there is a chance that sometimes you will provide, as a user, you might provide the inputs, and sometimes you might not provide the inputs. At that time, what will happen is it will have some default inputs. Okay, whenever the user is not providing, it will have the default inputs readily available with itself. Okay, those will be used when you don't provide. Okay, those will not be used when you provide. It is like this. So whenever you are trying to understand any built-in function, then you should understand about the default inputs which might work. Because if you don't know about the default inputs, you might be surprised with the output.
Correct.
Because something which you have not passed in, but still it will work in some specific manner because the default inputs are in the background and they are working.
Right.
Okay. So while calling a function, one thing is you should know what is allowed for you to pass, and the other thing is what might already be taken as some value if you don't pass it. So that needs to be taken care whenever we are using the built-in functions from Python.
Pradeep, one question is, what is the difference between this argument and the other term that you use? Parameter, correct. What is the difference between these? Argument, I understand, right? Number of arguments we are passing, which it is.
Right? Simple thing is, it will be based on at what place you are writing something. Okay?
Right.
Okay, so when you are writing a function for the very first time, I mean, there is some syntax for that. So let us think that you are writing for the function. This is not existing. Let us think that this is not existing. Okay. You are writing it for the first time. Okay. So here you will make the rules. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What needs to be allowed? At this point, I am calling this as parameters. Okay. And when you are done writing this, then you will write the call. Okay. Call at this point function. I can so at this point I'll call them as arguments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you are defining the function, at that time you are going to pass the parameters, and later when you call that function, then
no. I mean, in fact, so when you are defining the function, ideally we are not passing anything. We are just naming those as parameters. Okay. Whatever you are writing inside that. Yeah. And when we are calling the function, yes, definitely we are passing something that we are calling as arguments.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, so here, because most of the times we will be using the print. Okay, without print, I can say that you cannot code also. Okay, because that is the important to show your output. So we need to understand thoroughly what is the print thing. Okay. So where are we? Let us take just 2 more minutes. And then... So print has something. As per the documentation, there is one star inside the parenthesis, starting with star, and there it mentions as args. Okay, and in the online documentation, it mentions like this also: print star objects. Okay. So after this, there are many other things. We will not worry about the other things. First, we will focus on this one. Okay. So here, when we are saying star or something, do you have star meaning, anytime? I mean, generic.
This is basically a regex, right? Which matches all the strings. Anything that you write, it matches to it, right?
Yes, that could be like
in terms of regex.
Anything we write that matches. No, that is not exactly the same. Okay. If it matches anything, then it is dot. That is comes in regular expressions. Okay. In fact, star also comes in regular expression. Yeah. Okay. But in generic, I mean, not only in regular expressions, anywhere, the interpretation for star is I can say it as 0 or more.
Okay.
That's it. So you can take it as 0 or more. Either you give 0 or you give more than 0. That is allowed.
Okay.
So when we are saying args or objects, okay, how I see these things as data. Okay, because for me, one is an object. The name Ram is an object. So everything is an object for me. Okay. So I am understanding that I can pass these kind of objects, okay, in the number of 0 or more, means 0 or more objects. So the interpretation for star objects is I can pass 0 or more objects. Okay. With this interpretation, okay. So if I write like this on the screen, so is this correct or incorrect? Is this correct Python code or incorrect Python code?
It's correct because you are not passing 0.
Yeah, you can pass 0, right? So that is possible. So it is correct. Okay. And next thing is, with the same interpretation, so I am passing more than one object. So whenever we want to say to the other person that that you are giving more than one value, so general tendency is we will use comma. So I'm using comma. So I'm saying print 1, 2. So you think this is valid?
Depends. I'm not sure.
No. See, star interpretation is still available with you. Star is saying 0 or more objects.
Yeah. 0 or more.
Okay, more can be anything. It can be 1, it can be 2, or anything.
Yeah.
So comma is valid, that I am assuring you.
Okay.
So in that case, when I am writing print 1, 2, do you think it's valid?
I think it's valid. Yeah.
It's valid because it is more, right? So if I write print 1, 2 or print 1, 2, 3, this is valid, this is also valid.
Okay.
Next, if I am writing print 1, Ram, this is valid?
Yeah, it's valid.
Yeah, it is valid because this falls into an object category. So if I am writing print 1, Ram, so this is valid? No, because that Ram is actually will be interpreted as a variable name.
Okay. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And that's so if a variable was there, then it would have been correct.
Correct, yes. If it is already defined and existing, then it is correct.